Hey folks, it is Friday the 3rd, I think, 3rd of April. It is raining out. It poured yesterday, and said it was supposed to just be showers today, but not the case. Raining, and it's been wicked windy. So I'm trying to get a few things done. Well, in the case that the governor on, I think, Tuesday announced the shelter at home or statewide stay at home proclamation, so just kind of wondering what that was going to do. I thought there'd be less traffic, but it doesn't appear to be. There's still a good amount. So I'm an essential business or industry, so we can carry on. And everybody else, I guess, you read about in the papers or articles that sheriffs, county sheriffs, cops, state troopers, they're not going to be out there actively pulling people over to see if you should be out or not, but now they can limit how many people go into a convenience store or a grocery store depending on the square footage, I think. So anyways, I'm trying to get a couple things done. I don't know if you can see in my rear view mirror, I've got my dump trailer hooked on. You can see in that mirror. Got a couple 3 55-gallon drums of motor oil, used motor oil. I'm bringing to my buddy's garage. He's got a waste oil furnace. And Nick, he also, given everything that's going on and it's wet, and you know, if we're lucky, it'll be probably another couple weeks before we get back to work. I had my processor hauled down to his garage yesterday, so he's kind enough, and I'm lucky enough to have as good a friend as him to let me put my processor in there, and he's not really using it right now, so I'm gonna donate some used oil so we can have some heat. And anyways, I really appreciate all the comments on the last video. And these videos lately, I've been getting a lot of interaction, which is cool. So and you know, I have these videos, and I get a little bit of information about that and this and that in it, and I should be more specific and kind of hit certain topics, but I could go on and on about a numerous amount of topics that has to do with the woods business and all the intricacies and the things that we deal with. So I guess right now, today, while I'm driving, we're crossing the Kennebec River, the big bridge. I don't know if you can see the river. It's a saltwater river the further down you get, so I guess it's brackish water up here. But so I guess while I'm driving and we've got some time, I'm gonna talk a little bit about, I would say I have understandings, you know, and I understand that local towns and municipalities need to post their roads at the end of winter for weight limits. I'm not disputing that. I'm not saying they shouldn't or they're in the wrong, but the state has no regulation over the towns about when and they can post the roads, at what point in the winter. But there is a limit on how long they can post them for. So they could post them in January, and they don't have to take them down till May 14th or 15th, I think. So in this year, around our area, they put them up 1st of February. And so there's no real rhyme or reason. And what that does is it makes it incredibly hard for us to operate as normal. Because now you're constrained, for those of you who don't know, when they post the road, it's a posted weight limit, and the only way you can truck on that road if it's below freezing. And even a day that's 32 degrees, if the sun's blasting on that road and the water's wet, you're not legal to be on that road. So and the problem is these local towns and municipalities, and I don't know what the proper way to do it. I think the state should have a little bit of intervention in there, and these towns should have to go to trainings for when and how long they should post the roads, because right now it's early. So these local road commissioners and municipalities, you know, right now it's the 1st of April, and in their heads, they're not even thinking about pulling the posters down, I don't believe, until they hit this magical number in their head where it's like a season. It's like fall. Oh, it feels like fall now. Or, oh, it feels like summer. We should pull the posters down. When for the last month or so, we haven't made any frost, and there's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't pull the posters down in either now or the next week or so. It's just ridiculous. We're not getting any more cold. It's above freezing all night long. And so basically, you know, the posters are up to protect the road. And when you get enough frost in the road and it starts thawing out, it'd be like, you know, trying to drive over your lawn. It's just, you've got tar over the top, but it's mushy and soft right underneath. It's all wet, and and until that frost goes out all the way, that ground can't settle. Well, you know, the roads are tar, and, you know, they get a lot of fumbling my words. They get a lot of heat from the sun, and as long as you're consistently staying above freezing during the nights and above freezing during the days long enough, they should pull their posters. But they don't. You'll see some towns that pull them when you think they should, and other towns are like, I can't believe they're leaving them up this late. And it's really frustrating, because that's the one real thing that holds us up. You could have the best piece of ground that you could operate in wet times in the spring, so that we didn't have to sit and burn up money and everything else, but you can't go cut it because the town hasn't pulled the posters down. And like I said, the state has no authority to come in and say, you know, you guys need to pull your posters down. They just can't do that. So, and which brings me to the point of the current situation. You know, if we're under Homeland Security, essential business, and the economy right now is getting hammered, and these local towns and municipalities depend on taxes and the economy doing well to be able to maintain their roads and buy equipment, or pay you know, a private contractor road commissioner to maintain the roads. Well, they should be looking at this too right now, in the current situation of not trying to hold the posters up too long. And it's a hard thing to get across, because a lot of, I don't know as much about the municipalities, but the local towns where we live, it's usually a road commissioner that's putting them up. And, you know, there's I'm not belittling anybody, but a lot of these small towns, it's like their authority, and they're, you know, they I don't know exactly how to put it, because I'm not dumping on these people, but it's their stick, and they carry it, and they're a little prideful of too prideful of maybe the power and decision making that they have for that one thing. So but that's a really hard hurdle to get over, and it limits you to only jobs that are on main routes. Any state route that's getting state funding or federal funding, they can't post them. So I don't know. I think it's something that really needs to be addressed, especially now, and whether you believe in global warming or not. I think it's a little bit of both. I'm not a denier. I think it's hard not to imagine that we haven't had some sort of impact on the climate. Some of it's probably just where, you know, weather cycles and patterns, but besides that, Besides that, lost my train of thought there. Hold on, I'll get it here. Besides that, the winters have become very, very unpredictable, and they're not consistent. You know, when I first started cutting wood, I mean, I think it was starting to happen then. But I think before then, and even when I first started cutting wood, you know, the posters would go up the end of February, 1st of March, and they would come down, you know, the end of April, 1st of May. And the posters, a lot of years, might not have even gone up until the middle of March, which made it a lot easier to navigate, because you could work steady up until that point where they threw the posters up, and you didn't have all these trucking issues and, you know, should we start another job on a posted road right now? Are we going to be able to finish it, etc. But these years when they throw the posters up in January, it just makes it really hard, and then they have no problem keeping them up until whenever. So I'd be fully on board. I think the most reasonable thing to do is to have some training for these municipalities and towns, counties, you know, however it is where you live or whatever, about when they should put them up and when they should take them down. And there should be a limit. You shouldn't be allowed to have posters up for 4 or 5 months. You know, you should only get a maximum of 6 weeks to put your posters up or something like that. And when your time's up, you got to pull them, which would make it so that they're not posting them too early. And they would be able to figure that out and make sure that they were able to put them up when they should and have enough time to take them down when the roads are good. So that's kind of one of the topics of, you know, it comes up every year. Of course, it's that time of year. So like I said, I can go on and on about different things. So that's one of the topics. I'm going to leave it at that, because I don't want to get into marketing and you know, how I got into the woods business, because each one of these topics I talk about, you know, we'd be sitting here for hours, so it doesn't make any sense for me to do that. But anyways, I thought I'd put this up today, and hopefully I didn't bounce around too much, and hopefully it made sense. And on another note, the last video, I'm glad I got as much response as I did, but I got one of the clips not in the right sequence. So if you notice that, it was a mistake. I guess I need to look a little closer before I publish it, or finish editing it. So anyways, leave your comments, like, subscribe, and we'll catch you later.